right.
It says we are live.
It says we're live.
We are live.
You want to pull it up on your thing?
I can.
See what's happening here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, that was me.
Oh, we're like real loud. Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Hi. Okay, sorry. Ah! Oh my gosh.
What's that?
Body combat. Hi, everybody.
Yes, it says live now.
Cool. We're live.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Good. Yes, we're just making sure everything works.
Yeah, we're using this new thing, so we want to test it.
It's called the internet.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heather.
I'm Tom.
Today we're hanging out because it's been a while.
It's been quite a while. I think it's been New Year's since we did our last live stream.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It's been...
And it is May.
The world has changed.
Yes. So optimistic about 2020. A new decade. We were just like so naive, so young.
How do you feel about this decade?
So far?
Oh, here, look. We can click on this. So we can go boom.
Oh, look at that.
James and Mark says, fancy seeing you guys here instead of an animated island.
So that's one of the things I love about this decade.
Highlight of 2020.
For sure is Animal Crossing, my new therapy. Yes, that doesn't make up for everything else, but it's the most positive thing. It's really, that game is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Although I've spent most of this weekend playing Final Fantasy VII.
You have.
Remake. I'm almost done. I think
Animal
I might
Crossing
beat it
all the
tonight,
way.
but Animal Crossing. Yeah. So anyway, today what we wanted to do was just hang out with you guys. It's been a while since I've created any content, and I feel like the way to just get back into these things is just to go. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Chat with us, hang out with us. We don't have anything planned.
Vibe.
We're vibing.
Yeah. So how have you been?
Good. It's been a really stressful couple weeks.
Why?
Just a lot of stuff that we've been going through.
Yes.
Positive
things? What are some let's keep it positive.
Okay,
what are some positive things?
Aside from Animal Crossing. Let's see. I don't know how I could build my island without quarantine. I know.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of time.
We put so much time.
I feel so guilty for the amount of time.
Why? I don't.
I just can't.
Gamer life.
Yeah.
We have no guilt.
I feel nothing but guilt.
Crippling guilt over here.
Like, I have just been planting flowers for an hour and a half.
It's so good.
I know. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Just move there.
Yeah. We'll have to do a live stream of our island.
A tour.
Yeah.
Island tour 2020.
Okay, what else is good?
We finished a course.
I did. Oh my gosh.
That was stressful, but now it's done.
Yeah.
And that's positive.
That's positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I finished Zero to YouTube Hero. I made my first version of it 2 years ago. Needed to be updated. I've learned a lot since. A lot has changed since. And I've wanted to update it for a while, but it's just something that was like, it's just this huge task that you just keep putting off until you have enough time. And I finally just had to set a day and go. So, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful it's done. That was like definitely one of the hardest things I've had to do. It was so hard.
You put a lot of hours into that, but it's good.
It's
real good.
I'm so proud of it.
So that's a positive.
That's
a
really
huge win.
Yeah.
And that's why you got Final Fantasy 2. Was like, that was the reward at the end of that.
Derek Snyder says hello.
Hello, Derek. It's been so long. It's nice to see you. Well, see your comment.
Oh, here's a good question. What have you guys learned about each other during this time period? This is an interesting question because I've seen a lot of things pop up on Twitter about couples. First, it was divorce rates were like super on the rise. And then there was like domestic violence is also on the rise. And then it was like like weird habits that I've noticed about my partner that I hadn't noticed before, but now do because we spend 24/7 together. And it was just like a lot of like bad things, I guess. It's been nothing but awesome with Tom. Like this is everything I could ever wish for.
I mean, honestly,
honestly,
yeah, our daily life doesn't really seem that different.
Which
there's just more
we
time.
recognize that we are very blessed. Like
Yeah.
I would definitely want to put that out there and say we have it better than a lot of people, and I know that.
Yeah, I have students who are not in situations where it's like, oh, okay, I can just stay home and be like happy and healthy or whatever, and maybe a little annoyed that I can't go do the things I want to do, but they're like in bad situations. And so being in a situation where it's like, oh, we can just play Animal Crossing and get our work done remotely and hang out with the dog and that kind of stuff is really nice. And
yeah, I think one of the biggest stressors of Tom, like pre-quarantine, was that he was never home because he was either at work or we had to go out of town to go visit people.
I was like never here.
It just to get like one weekend of just time at home was so rare, and now he gets a lot of it, and it's nice for both of us.
That is great. And
so what have we learned from each other about each other?
We've gone through a couple rough times with things that have happened.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to. I'm not in, but one of our dogs passed away really suddenly. We had another health scare with our other dog. Really tough things, and though that sucked. But what I learned, which is very strange, is that whatever our timing is in those times when one of us is breaking down and losing it, for some reason the other gets a burst of strength and can be supportive, and then later in the day or the next day or whatever, and the other one is breaking down, the other one gets a burst of strength. And I don't know how that works exactly.
It's weird.
But it's been a nice way of kind of sharing grief and sharing stress and sadness and all that sort of stuff. It's nice to be able to support each other no matter what. But
we haven't been in that situation before, in a situation where, you know, we've had to overcome something so tough like in our relationship yet, until like now. And it seems like it's been one thing after another, but it's great to see how close we've become, and you know how we've like been able to step up and see this other side, or see this new side of like how we support each other, like you said. So for example, like I'll be crying my eyes out because I miss Ollie, and then Tom will just like be right there and, you know, comfort me and ask me if I need anything, help me with whatever. And then just vice versa. When I see Tom like really anxious about whatever or upset about something, I'm just like, okay, what do I have to do to, you know, help him out? And it's just, it's cool that's, I don't know. I just like that. I don't know if like, I don't know if it's something, you know, that I didn't recognize before. I just don't think that we were in a situation where this side of us has come out yet, I guess.
We had been in situations where like I might be sick for a day, or you might not feel well for a day, and that's kind of easy. Like, not easy, but if I'm sick and you're not sick, and you can go, okay, like I'm going to help you feel better. But this stuff has been so like emotionally just gut-wrenching for long periods of time, you know, days and weeks and now months, and it's like, and we're both going through it. It's not like something I'm going through and she's not going through it. It's like we're both going through it. And so it's just it's an interesting thing of like how, when you're both dealing with it, how do you deal with it?
Yeah. And then on top of that, quarantine.
Yeah. And then on top of that, which in a way, again, was like sort of
also a blessing in disguise.
Because like if I had to go to work and you had to be alone and we just had to go, like that would have been even harder. So I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but being given like total permission to just take the time you need to take care of yourself was helpful.
Yeah, like to be perfectly honest, you know, because I keep it real with you guys. I had this whole dream of a marketing plan for my online course, right? Even our mastermind, which is going really well, by the way. So check it out. Yeah, if you haven't already. But, you know, I had numbers goals and sales goals and this whole marketing plan. And it's, you know, between Ollie, the Ben health scare, quarantine, complete disruption with like our entire lives, it's been really hard to find the motivation, just to be totally honest, to stick to a marketing plan. It's like, you know, I remember when quarantine first started, we were even asking ourselves, like, do we continue creating content as normal? And on top of that, it feels weird to be like, hey, check out, you know, let me help you start a YouTube channel, but also my dog just died. Like, it just, and everyone knew that because I share it with you guys. So it's, you know, time heals, and, you know, I don't know, I'm feeling, I don't want to say better, but I have yet to market my stuff as much as I have wanted. So those are the business updates, I guess. But
that's okay, because I mean, the business updates, we did do our LLC at the beginning of the year before all this started.
It's like we did our LLC, we did the, you know, opened up the bank account.
Like, we got all the foundation is there, and then everything, which is fine because it's all there. It's all just there when we need it. And just recognizing like self-care is kind of number one. And it's like, yeah, you have all these goals, but the number one thing is to just stay safe, be healthy, take care of yourself.
My point in bringing that up is that I think the thing I always tell myself is like, I'm trying my best. I'm taking it day by day. Quarantine is, you know, everyone's having a different experience with it. And I think it's still weird. Like, I think it's still weird to understand how it's actually affecting us to not be able to see our friends and family, to not be able to see other human beings, to not be out and go explore and do new things and, you know, be out and about and stuff like that. So if you are feeling like you had all these goals, or you're not as productive as you want to be, or you're not as motivated, I hope you're not being too hard on yourself.
Right.
Like, that's what I'm telling myself, is like, dude, take it day by day. This is a new normal that we have to adjust to. And if I have to kind of push things a little bit and re-strategize and all that, I'm not going to feel bad about it, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's the takeaway there. Also, Mark wants to know, Tom, who cuts your hair? You still look so fresh.
I gave myself a quarantine haircut last night.
And it took like 2 hours.
You know what?
But it looks fantastic.
I gave myself, I needed a haircut before quarantine started. And that was like 2 months ago or whatever. And so I gave myself a little trim like a month ago, because I was like, okay, I can figure this out, just to kind of clean things up. And then it's been like another month, and I was just like, oh, I need to do something. And I took it real short.
Yeah, but it looks good.
Yeah, so I just had to figure out, I was like, I've gotten my haircut before. I remember them doing
lots
things.
Lots of YouTube videos.
Yeah, my YouTube history is like, home haircut how to, home haircut how to blend, home haircut how to fix. You can just see the progression. I mean, I know a lot of people are just buzzing their head, but I don't. It's only been in the last year that I've let like my hair get a little longer, and I like it, so I don't want to lose it. So I'm trying to like salvage it as much as I can until I can go to a professional again. But thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, because I was real nervous about like having to make videos when you go to cut your own hair, and you're like, part of the thing I do is be on camera. So I hope this works out well.
Yeah. Kyle has a comment, but before that, Mark says, any tips? I cut James's hair, but can't imagine cutting my own. Kyle, I'll get to your comment after.
Tips: go slow. Take it very, very slow. That's why like I took 2 hours. Normally it would be 18 minutes at the barber.
I asked if I could help, but you were pretty adamant about like,
well, I didn't know. I don't know what, if I knew exactly what was happening. I was like, yes, can you hold this and do that? But I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't want you to go like, I'm going to try it. And then you accidentally make a mistake. And now I have to shave my head or something. And then you feel like it's your fault. I didn't want that. So just going slow. I have the trimmer that has the different length things on it. So starting really long, obviously, and then going shorter. I ended up like redoing it a bunch of times to go shorter and shorter and shorter. The trickiest part is where the longer hair on the top lays on the side, because you get this line where it's really obvious, and you have to kind of like, you just sort of have to
fade it.
You kind of have to fade it. You have to like cut this back more, and where it pops out, you have to not be afraid to go a little higher to even it out. And there's a lot of YouTube videos. I recommend those. Take your time. That's my number one thing. I wanted to point out, I think it was at the top, Bev Martin had a really nice comment.
Sorry, Bev, I missed this. You two are lovely.
I just wanted
and Sylvia, hi.
I just wanted to appreciate those comments because they're nice.
And Marianne, hello. Kyle, hi Kyle. Keep the dream, stay motivated best you can. Always be aware of each other's feelings. Happy to see you, Heather and Tom. Aw.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's
good seeing you, Kyle.
I mean, we haven't really had any like cabin fever, really. I don't think.
I'm not even kidding. I know people can punch me because it sounds so cheesy, but to be like forced to stay home with this guy, it's the best thing. Like this is what I want to be doing. Like there's nothing else. Of course it'd be great to have like a change of pace, but like I'm not bored or anything, you know. We're not going. Okay, so here's where quarantine really was annoying, right? When we had to take Ollie in, there wasn't a radiologist. When we had to take Ben in, there wasn't a radiologist. We have to wait in the car in the freaking parking lot of the pet hospital. You know, they have to come out with the face mask, and our dogs, you know, who are our family, are going to the hospital without us. And I'm sure they're scared because they're like, they don't know anybody there. It's an unfamiliar environment. And that has been the most frustrating thing. Aside from that, you know, we've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, the grocery store is a weird anxiety experience now, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
those are all easy problems to have, I guess.
Jeff Ludwig says, keep the videos coming. Well, there you go. I've been filming vlogs, so they will come. Michael Hendrickson, wow, I almost missed you.
Does that mean you almost missed the live stream, or like you almost started missing?
Sylvia, my BF has been trying to figure out how to give me a haircut, hoping YouTube tutorials will help him hook me up.
Girl hair, at least with a guy, worst case scenario, you just buzz it. Girl hair, I think it's
girl hair is hard because to get a even length, I don't know.
When I was like 11 or 12 years old, my mom one night was just trying to like even up the back of her hair. She had long hair, and she was like, can you come here and just help me do this? And she like combed her hair down. She's like, I just need you to just like cut it, you know, just a little bit off or whatever. I don't know what I did. I'd never cut hair before, but it kind of like, instead of going straight, it sort of looked like this. All I remember is like, I was like, okay, I think I did it. And then she started crying. For like the rest of the night. So that's my experience with cutting a girl's hair.
There you go. Jeff Ludwig, I'm thinking to start with Anchor. Any challenges or cautions I should know about? Thanks. Well, Jeff, this is Tom, if you don't know who he is. And he just is making a video about Anchor. It is not out yet.
Yeah, I just made a video all about using Anchor for your podcasts. It'll be out sometime in the next few weeks, whenever I kind of like switch the order of my videos around. I don't think there's anything to worry about with Anchor. The biggest thing is that there was this misconception that if you upload your podcast to Anchor, you don't own it anymore, that Anchor owns it. And that is not true. And it says really clearly in their terms of service, which I do go over in the video, you still own everything. Anchor has limited rights to distribute it, which is like legally they have to have those rights to be able to send your podcast out to services. But that's it. You own everything. You can monetize it. You can make money off of it. I don't understand how Anchor is free, because it's so
easy. It's so freaking easy.
It's such a good service. And having set up podcasts in the past where I was doing everything manually and like setting up an RSS feed and trying to distribute it out, like I hated that. I hated when a new episode would, because it wasn't my podcast. I was like producing other people's, and a new episode would come in. It would just be like a nightmare. I'm like, oh, I have to like,
yeah.
It was just.
This is one push of a button.
Yeah.
Drag the file in or record it in the app natively. And it just distributes to Spotify, iTunes,
whatever,
Google Play, whatever it is. Yeah.
And my favorite feature is people can not call in, but they can go to your Anchor page, click a button, and leave you a message, even if it is just on their phone. You can get their voice message, and then you can literally either just download it if you're going to use an editor, or right within Anchor, you can drag it into an episode and incorporate user calls.
So if you're doing like, Q&As, people could submit calls, or, if you want to invite people to answer questions or leave you comments or whatever, you could actually just embed their audio directly into your podcast. And it's so easy.
They just added some functionality for doing interviews. So you can, if you want to do like a remote podcast with somebody, you can do that both in the mobile app and in the browser now.
Yeah. And
which is, it's awesome. I haven't found anything bad about Anchor. So go for it. That's what I say.
Michael Henderson was talking about live. Well, you caught us. So here we are. Jackie Santana says, Heather, whatever happened to you and Jermaine? Y'all never vlog anymore.
Does Jermaine not vlog anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been on YouTube in a while, just to be honest, both as a creator and a viewer. I hope Jermaine's okay. I haven't been able to check in with him in a while. I remember the exact day I stopped. We went out of town. And then I was on a daily vlog stunt. And then we went out of town. And then all of this just kind of happened. So, but getting back into it, I just won't be doing it daily or anything. But daily vlogging during quarantine would just be insanely boring, I think. But I'll be uploading more content now. So Just Kissa, hello, hi. Still want to meet Micah.
When we're able to.
Yeah, in person. All right, what else is up? Ask us questions.
Yes.
We got answers.
I mean, creating stuff is cool. I have found when we first started going into quarantine, that was like a big question. Like, is it okay to still make videos? Like, do all your videos have to be quarantine related or like, emotional state related? And I think overwhelmingly the answer was just do whatever works for you.
Yeah.
I have found that for me, well, actually, I lied. When quarantine started, I was like, I don't think anyone's going to be really interested in the videos I'm making because mine are mostly like camera reviews and tech reviews and tutorials and stuff. And it's like, I was like, people aren't going to be looking for a new camera or new whatever right now. But I don't care because thinking about the video, outlining it, making it, editing it, finishing it, that feels so good. And it's such a good distraction. It's like a positive thing for me that I just figured that was valuable. And even if no one was watching, that was a good thing to keep doing just to stay sane. And then fortunately, it actually turned out I was totally wrong, where during quarantine, I mean, like literally, if you want to find live streaming stuff now, like you want to find
completely
good mics or HDMI capture cards or podcast gear or whatever, it's sold out everywhere. It's like toilet paper. And then
no, it's like worse.
Yeah, I mean, so many people want to start stuff that then it ended up a lot of the videos I had and even older ones got really popular, and then people started reaching out. So it was kind of a cool way to build like a community I didn't expect of people who are making stuff while they're stuck at home. Wait, which Eric? Eric Wen. Speaking of people who are making really good things during quarantine.
Go check out Eric's channel on YouTube. Eric Wen.
Check it out no matter what, but especially if you have a YouTube channel or you want to start one or you're trying to reboot one, that's the place to go to find the ingredients to your YouTube smoothie.
Yes, the content smoothie. Just Kissa says, we're making a plan to come to your area for a little getaway when this is all over. Yep. Where would you want to get away, Tom? Okay, actually, I have a question for you. Where's the first place you want to go?
I mean, we've talked about this. If it was a finger snap and like everything was safe and everything was normal and like virus just doesn't exist and things are good, which
Disneyland.
Yes, I would want to go. I would want to go to Disneyland. I would want to just have a fun day there. There's people there. I wouldn't even care about lines.
It's just so normal. It's so like
just the normal.
Not that we go often or anything, but the world is normal.
I would love that. Realistically, did the camera just shut off? No, the screen just shut off. Realistically, what I would want to do is just go to like a restaurant.
Yeah.
Without masks, without
we
gloves,
see people's faces,
without anxiety. Yeah. To like, you sit at the table and like the waiter like pours you water or whatever, gives you food, and you're like, yeah, this is fine. And then someone walks by that and you're like, oh, hey, nice to see you. What's up? And you're just normal interaction with the world, the physical world would be nice.
It's crazy because I've always really enjoyed atmosphere, like in terms of people, ambiance and stuff. Like when I used to live in Long Beach, every night pretty much I would walk on 2nd Street, not to see anybody in particular, but just to be around people eating and drinking and walking around and shopping. I just liked seeing that. And the fact that that's just gone is really heartbreaking. And I would love for us to be able to just walk through, I don't know, even the mall or something.
No, God, the mall.
Just to see people. And like this morning I woke up and I was like, I want to go to Barnes & Noble and shop for a book. No. Because I like walking through the aisles and talking about this book and that book and be like, oh, we should read that next or something. And
now what we can do is we can go to Amazon and maybe find a book that might be able to be delivered. And when it does get delivered, you spray it, you disinfect it, leave it in the garage for like 3 days, and then bring it in, open it, wash your hands, and then you have your book. So it's a different process now.
I put quarantine somewhere in my grocery haul video and it was auto demonetized.
Oh, when was that? Because YouTube just like a week ago said that now
they wouldn't do that.
They're not doing that. But the other thing was Cody Warner, one of our creator friends, found that basically YouTube is just, to be safe, was like auto demonetizing anything that mentioned it. But if you go through on your video or proactively and you click the thing that says like mentions topical event, there's like an option you can click that says like,
it's relevant to the,
it's relevant to like a news story or a topical event or whatever, where you're essentially like flagging the video yourself. And then it seems like that kicks it into a human review right away. And then they can immediately go like, oh, this is fine, and then not demonetize it. So I don't think it's supposed to be an issue anymore. I don't know if that was like a recent video, but within the last week, it shouldn't be an issue. If it still is, that's a way to fix it where
there you go.
You can still do it. So
Michael Hendrickson, I saw you on my LinkedIn and really like your video. That's so funny. I find a lot of people find me on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is very confusing because I get LinkedIn messages out the wazoo, but I never check in. And then the other day I was like, I need to actually like log into LinkedIn and see what's going on, because I keep getting messages, connection, whatever. And I logged in, literally nothing. Like there was no messages. There was no anything, maybe one message. But I was like, oh, it was all just like not fake notifications, but like notifications that weren't even pertinent to me. But it was like making it seem so urgent to log in, and nothing was happening.
I need to get back in the LinkedIn. Okay, just kiss it. I've personally been on YouTube way more because of quarantine, just to keep myself entertained and my mind off all of this.
Oh, I've been watching so much YouTube.
He's all about the YouTubes. I just I think because okay. Here are the 3 things that I spend most of my time doing. Animal Crossing, Final Fantasy VII. 4 things. Anime and Ben.
Yeah.
Dog stuff. Yeah. That's what we spend most
of
our time.
Those are all good. And it's usually like if you're playing Final Fantasy, I'll either be playing Animal Crossing or watching YouTube. Yeah. So it's those things are all happening at times, which is just like delightful to just be on the couch and do that.
James said it was the week of March 14th. Okay, so that was a while ago. Yeah, they've changed it. Jeff Ludwig, Cody rocks, lives around the corner from me. How crazy!
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's a super cool. I have a little 3D printed.
No small creator. Can't stand LinkedIn, Eric says. Yeah, so my thing with LinkedIn is people find me because I think I'm one of the only people, not the only, one of the very few people who actually uses it to promote like YouTube coaching and consulting. And so a lot of clients have found me that way. But in terms of like what I get out of it, like why do I go on LinkedIn? Unless you're like looking for a job or looking for leads, it's not a platform that I would want to spend any time on, because even the feed is just a mess. It's just like
the interface.
Not the interface, but the feed is like full of stuff that I don't really care about. Like I don't crave to go on there and be like, not that I crave to go on Facebook or Twitter, but Twitter's
fun.
I always get off of Twitter feeling some kind of way. Not necessarily negative, or positive, sometimes negative, but
I know earlier today,
it's very thought provoking.
Earlier today, you could just put your phone down and you're like,
because
I thought you were having an argument with somebody.
Because people were saying that you can get coronavirus through your eyes. And someone was like, okay, scientist, like, where's the thing on that? And I just, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting seeing people argue about all of this stuff.
I like dealing with Ollie's passing led me to seek out really positive content or fun things, which is why like Animal Crossing came out like 4 days later, and that was
oh my god, like I don't even know what I would do without Animal Crossing. I will talk about it till the end of time.
Yeah,
it's the best.
But it also just caused me like YouTube, Twitter, whatever, Reddit, just unsubscribing from things, unfollowing things, and just focusing on like really positive stuff, because there were a lot of people who reached out and were super kind, which made me feel good. It just sort of helped develop. I didn't button this button. It helped develop
You freaked out.
a lot of empathy. And then I don't know. It just,
you have a dog, please hug them.
It just made me
Love
feel
them.
better to focus on like positive things than people being mean to each other, because I don't know, there's just enough of that.
Yeah, definitely. Ghost Elaine says, hi, Heather. How are you? Hi, Ghost Elaine. Eric, who are you watching a lot on YouTube, Tom? Long or short videos? This is a good question.
Yeah, my favorite length of YouTube video is probably like 12-ish minutes, because if it's too short, I can enjoy it, but then I feel like I like to be able to kind of like sit and enjoy, but I don't want to feel like I'm watching an episode of a show. When
he's on YouTube, he is either eating, so you're going to get a good, at least 15 minutes. Yeah, you eat fast, but you really sit fast. There. Yeah. Or on the couch. So that's a relatively longer. I
sound like a real
session.
dynamo here.
But I'm just saying, like, you don't go through like 3 minutes and then you're done.
I like to go through my feed. I mean, let's see who I've been watching. A lot of the normal stuff. So, in addition to Eric Wen, Potato Jet I love, and I love Jean's vlog channel, which is a little more personal, and they just had a dog scare, which was like so relatable. Really been liking Becky and Chris a lot lately, especially because he is on the front lines and she's dealing with a lot of the anxiety and just being very open and upfront with like, this is how it's kind of messing with us. I've been watching a lot of dog training videos because we've been trying to focus more positive attention on Ben, and then also preparing for, we really like being a family of 4. And so
a puppy should be coming soon.
Imminent.
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of preparing for that kind of stuff. And then I recently discovered Gerald Undone, who like, it was always popping up, but for whatever reason, I just never clicked on. And then I was like, wow, this is all really good. And so I've been watching a lot of his videos. And Peter Gregg, a lot of Peter Gregg live streams. That really helps when I was going through the grief. Peter Gregg is wonderful. He just does the most mellow, down-to-earth live streams that can go on for like 2.5 hours. And when you just need like something
to hang out with somebody,
something positive and just enjoyable, it's just soothing. Oh, it's so good. Those are the big ones that popped into my head right away. Yeah.
So I haven't been watching any YouTube, but when I do, it's Vlog After College.
Oh yeah, so much Vlog After College, because that's just
because he has a corgi.
He's a corgi. He's a super cool guy, and then it's just I
like the style of it. Yeah,
the style of it's so down to earth, casual. He's a super good dog owner.
Yeah.
So it's nice to like. That's a really fun, soothing one too.
Just Kissa, top 3 YouTube topics: gardening how-tos, mom vlogs, tips, and cooking videos. That Dalgona coffee life. Dalgona coffee. Is that a Filipino thing? I feel like I should know that. Gardening. See, our gardening is in Animal Crossing.
Yeah. But I don't watch many Animal Crossing videos because I want to discover this stuff on my own.
Yeah.
I know there's like all the tips.
No,
like, this is how you do this, how you do whatever. But it's like, no. I want to figure it out like by happy accidents.
Yeah. James and Mark, the LinkedIn feed is horrendous. I can't even find posts for my own company. I just posted a minute ago. It's so, I don't understand. Like, I don't, the feed is not something I would just scroll through.
It doesn't feed my curiosity.
Exactly. It's like I go on there with a purpose, either to message someone or to search for something, and then I'm just off the platform. It's, I don't know, weird. Jeff, thinking about using my Rodecaster Pro for live stream. Are you using it now?
We're using the Yeti just because it's simple.
Laptop,
my Rodecaster is right there with my pod mics there. It worked great. I go overboard on all my Zoom calls for work with like the EOSR and all this stuff. So this week I'm bringing in the Roadcaster just for no reason, other than that I can and it's fun.
Ozzy, what's up, Oswaldo? Rock Entry up in here. Hi. Actually, I've been thinking about you. How's your YouTube channel been since people still rock climb?
He's been doing like indoor content, like
cool.
indoor rock. And we got a rock climbing wall in Animal Crossing, and I thought of you because I was like,
oh yeah, we got a rock wall. Yeah. Oh, it's Korean, a TikTok trend. Oh, TikTok. The coffee thing. I watched the Mayday Maze video after I left the island. Oh, Mayday Maze video. Is there like a video about it? Tom did it.
I did mine. It was really fun. She hasn't done hers yet.
I haven't done mine yet. Michael says, I watch Big Red 69, the fast race car, and YouTube rock and roll video and sprint car racing.
Cars.
Korean coffee trend was on TikTok.
I haven't been hanging out with high school kids, so I know nothing about TikTok now.
Miss you guys so much. My channel's dead.
What?
Aww, that's crazy.
I mean, your channel, if anything, napping maybe, but dead, I can't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I think as restrictions start to lift, people are going to be itching to do exactly what you make content about. So
it's going to be like how my stuff took off when people were locked at home and like, I need to do stuff inside. All of a sudden
I need to make a podcast, and his channel just like 5,000 subscribers in, I don't even know, 2 months or something.
Something like that, yeah.
It's nuts. I won't spoil any more about it. So is it the same maze? I thought it was like a different maze for every person.
I don't know. I had a maze. It was fun. It was like a super fun puzzle. I liked it.
Yeah. It was like, oh, this is like the dungeon, like the dungeon quest I've been kind of itching for.
Because Animal Crossing is funny because it's like there's kind of objectives, but they're so but there's
not.
Yeah, it's like you have a home loan, you could pay it off or not. Like whatever. And that's why the game, I got into it. I wanted to try it out because someone described it as the chillest game experience you'll ever have. And I think that that's very accurate. And that's what I don't go there to be stressed out. I go there to just like.
You just hang out. I mean, our island is at the point where it's so beautiful. We just walk around. I just walk around. I'm just like, well, it's cute over there. Just like, we're just hanging out in the simulator.
This is really sad, but it hasn't happened so much lately, but like closer to like with Ollie and everything, there were those times where basically you'd feel like a wave of grief coming and you're like, okay, I either need to just succumb to this and I'm going to be a heap for the rest of the day, or like I can do a quick distraction and try to focus on something else. Animal Crossing helped a lot. And there were times where I was just like, I don't know. And I would literally just want to go talk to the villagers and they're like, we're seeing a lot of each other today, but it's like, no, tell me more. Like I came to chat. This is for you. And it just, I don't know. It's nice.
Aww.
So that I just like, we have a pretty decent chunk of villagers.
Yeah.
That are fun.
Yeah. James says, I'm a bit bitter that the other villagers don't chip in for infrastructure upgrades. Are you kidding? He's the most bitter one.
I know. They're like, we raised our goal. It's like, we, okay, yeah. I caught all those fish.
I know. Tom
busting my butt in the middle of the night.
Friends with KK.
Tom Nook. Oh, yeah. Tom Nook. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, man. Let's ask them a question.
Yeah. Okay, positive things. What's something positive that's happened or happening since you've been at home? Hopefully there's something big, small, whatever.
What's something positive?
Let's hear some good news.
I know. John Krasinski, good for him.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. I really love that somebody with that level of like influence and stuff stepped up to just recognize how people are feeling and be the
Bye,
lead.
Michael.
See you later. Thank you for coming.
Gotta go eat my dinner. James Mark, I passed out a bunch of loaches to the villagers, not knowing they'd display them in their homes. I feel a little guilty then.
Yeah. I gave some of them flowers, and it's funny because they just like, it's in the little vase. They just like put it on the floor. It's a tiny flower on the floor. And then I did make wreaths for all the villagers. So they all have wreaths on their doors now.
Ghost Lane says, more time with family.
Yeah, that's
OFC. What's that?
Of course.
Of course.
that is one of those things I've heard so many people, I've read so many people talking about how great it is to spend time at home, and all the stuff they were so stressed out about is just so not important now. And I wonder if things shift towards like quote unquote normal again, how many people are going to kind of resist falling back totally into the way they were. Like, I feel like there might be a group of people. I know some people are in situations where they don't get to make these decisions, but other people might actively choose to maybe take on less at their job, or even like sacrifice a little bit of money for a little more time. I think that there might be a big perspective shift on values and priority. And I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah. And I think it's going to last a generation, and then it'll go back. It's kind of like
everything's a pendulum.
Yeah. People like you were talking about, your grandparents who went through the Great Depression.
Yeah, my grandparents were, they went through the Great Depression, and that ended in, the 1930s, or was it, I guess 1940 ended the Great, 1929 to 19, whatever. It was a long time. And despite the fact that it ended ages ago, still in the 1990s and the early 2000s when they were still alive, I mean, it's every pill bottle, everything they like saved, not hoarding, but like organized. Like, we have this thing, it's organized. If you buy something, no matter what it is, I'm trying to look for something. Like, I remember yardsticks. My grandma would like crochet little holders that would sleeves that would go around the yardsticks to keep them clean and keep them whatever. Because it's like, I know it's a $6 yardstick, but that's the yardstick you have for 35 years. And I was always confused, like, why you don't need all these pill bottles. You could just throw them away. Like, why are you so... I mean, I kind of liked it. I liked how caring they were for things and how organized it was, but I was confused by it. And then I realized, well, that was the thing. It was such a formative, huge shifting event that you can't break out of that mindset, even if they probably never felt a sense of security. And I know, because they saved money their whole lives. And even when they got much, much older, like into their 80s and 90s, and it was still like, you don't even need this money necessarily anymore, but we're going to keep it, because I don't think they ever reached a sense of security again, or if they ever had one to begin with. And I feel like this might be kind of that, which is scary to think that you're always living, like, oh God, something's going to happen. It's going to get taken away. Something's going to go bad. It's going to throw everything off again. But at the same time, maybe it helps you.
But even like
with your values,
I think cringing or bracing myself when someone sneezes or coughs. Like, I'm so scared to sneeze in public and cough in public. I think that's gonna like echo for a while. It's just like, if someone coughs, everyone's just gonna look at them. Like, even long after this is over, I think that's gonna last for a while.
I mean, it is crazy how, I don't want to say like how dirty you realize the world is, but just how many chances, how much contact you come into with other things, like potential germs or spread of whatever, in just your normal life, where you're like, I'm fine, I wash my hands, I do this, I do that. But you're like, God, like, I mean, we opened the mailbox, like the other day, we opened the mailbox and there was just like one thing of junk mail. And I was like, I'm just going to get that tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to pull that out and have to wash my hands. Like, it's just going to stay.
But hopefully, the reason why we brought this up, hopefully people, do have a different perspective shift and recognize like maybe a little reprioritization and spending more time with family or hobbies or, personal development, whatever it is. That'd be great.
Yeah. Positive thing.
Jane Edgeworth.
I know, I saw
Richard
that.
says, love your blue walls. I have the same night room. Great.
Thanks. Yeah, I love blue, and as soon as I could, painted the big blue wall.
Chris rescued a puppy, keeping me busy during the quarantine.
Oh,
that's amazing. What kind of puppy is it?
Finding a puppy has been very difficult, but also like animal shelters, at least in our county, are empty.
Totally empty.
Which is great. I just hope that the people who adopted can keep the animals once they have to not be quarantined anymore.
Jane says you two are too cute.
Too cute.
James says, I love that world is seeing how possible it is to work remotely. I love that the world is seeing how possible it is to work remotely.
I talked to my like childhood best friend the other night, which was super nice. We we like go years without talking and then pick up right where we left off. But I don't even think I told you this, his girlfriend works for Netflix. And I guess Netflix, I forget the policy, what it's called, but it's like responsibility and like freedom and responsibility or something is like one of their ethics that they stand by. And I guess Netflix in the scheme of tech companies is relatively small. They have like 10,000 employees, which I was like, that's a lot. And my friend works at Facebook. He's like, we have 120,000 employees. Like, oh, 10,000 is very small then. But I guess with Netflix, their thing, which they've preached for a long time, is this is your job. This is what you have to do. Just get it done. And we don't, if you get that done at home, if you get that done here, if you get it done in the morning, at night, whatever, we just need you to get your stuff done. And you're responsible for figuring out how you want to do that. And I guess that's something they actively preach, at least from what I've heard. And I hope more and more organizations, when possible, can do that. Obviously, like the service industry can't do that. Like I'm a server, so I'm like, I'll serve food. Like I'll come to work when I feel like it. But for those of us where it's like, why are you even in the office? Why, like, you
don't have to be.
Yeah, or at least not all the time, or whatever. It is 2020 after all. Like, come on.
Yeah, like this is so going to be different. But I remember like when I was still working for other people, I would always feel like a sense of I still have to go to work even though I'm sick, which I would never do that now. Like if you're sick, stay home, COVID or not, definitely don't spread germs. But there was that feeling of like, I need to show everyone I'm working.
Right.
Even though I could probably be even more productive from home. But I don't know. I don't know if that was my work ethic or my like wanting to prove myself or what, but
yeah. It's just I mean, that's kind of the default answer so many times when you talk to someone, how are you doing? There's like busy, I'm so busy. And it's almost like that's kind of a mindless answer. You feel busy. So you say you're busy, but it's also like, well, if I say I'm not busy, then I'm going to be like the
slacker.
Oh, it must be nice just to have all that time and like hang out and do nothing.
Ben Tolson.
Hey.
Ben. Let's see. Daniel Leon, Tom and Heather. Hello. What's your prediction on when we as a society can go to concerts again?
So this is Daniel's priority, who's like the biggest music fan and concert goer and traveler. So Daniel can't go to concerts, can't go on his trips. Like he's just, I have no idea.
Well, isn't someone said like,
I mean, I can't imagine
was like a test on whether things are going back to normal or not, which are set for October.
I personally can't imagine Coachella actually happening in October. I think it's just going to get canceled. Based on my own, I can't imagine from where we are now in May to however long quarantine lasts to like gradual reopening to like now here's hundreds of thousands of people together. So I think it's going to be gradual. I can't imagine anything in 2020.
Like, let's like a
like a smaller
an LA club
yeah,
kind of,
like the El Rey or something where it's a few hundred people.
Yeah, I could see that happening in October.
I mean, maybe it depends on how things go.
Yeah, I don't know. You're supposed to predict.
I mean, I don't really have what I have learned over the past 4 years and especially the past couple months is I can't predict anything. The day that they canceled school, like our last day in the classroom, one of my students was like, do you think they're going to close our school? And I was like, no way, not going to happen. Like, I know that's something you'd love to have is like no more school, but no. And later that day, they're like, yeah, schools are closed. So I was like, I'm just going to shut up and I'm just going to do the things I'm told to do because I can't predict.
So crazy because like I've noticed a shift. I think it's just, I don't know if it's just me, but I've noticed this shift of like when quarantine first started, it was like, okay, quarantine day one, we got this. We've got our, our schedule. We've got our goals. We're going to make the most out of this time and blah, blah, blah. And of course we were dealing with other things, but I feel like there's this, people are over it. There's this itch to like, let's, reopen everything and go back and.
Well, then it goes into like the political discussion of it, which we don't need to get into right now. But I think it'll be a while if people want to stay safe.
There you go. Chris says he got a Chihuahua mix. Got him as a friend for my other Chihuahua. Aw, see, that's what we want to do for Ben.
Yeah, Ben is like living. He's upside down in the hallway right now.
I know. I wish you could see this.
He's living the life, but
we
are home with him constantly. And the weird thing is, when it was Ben and Ollie, we have like our security cameras at home, and if we leave, we could watch them on security camera, and they would just pass out and be asleep the whole time we're gone. When it's just Ben, not that we leave that often, but like when we go to the grocery store or whatever, we look at Ben and he is just laying, but he's not asleep. Like there's not that. I just think as the world goes back to normal, he would do better having a buddy. And it just makes me feel better to know a dog has, even if the dog doesn't care, I don't know. I feel like a dog sometimes needs a dog.
Yes. Mona Walker, hello. Daryl Reed says, yo, what up?
What
are your guys' opinions on capitalism and the free market, as well as personal liberty?
That's a question.
What are your guys' opinions on capitalism?
Well, I don't know if this is a trolling question or if this is like a legit question.
Are you serious?
Well, I mean, there's so many people who are like, if you're protesting things right now, it's like it's my freedom to be out in the world. It's, it's whatever. But I think that I am somebody who prioritizes human safety and life over all. And so I'm in favor of people. We started our own businesses. Like we're in favor of doing your own thing and, like reaping the fruits of your labor. But it's also like you get to be alive one time, and I'd like to be safe and be responsible and be kind to others. And, I think human empathy and kindness guide my feelings towards the other things.
Ben says, that's been one of my favorite things about my employer. It's amazing having that kind of trust and freedom. Yeah, dude. I really like your employer. I'm a fan.
I do too. I'm trying to make my first product for your employer during quarantine.
Daniel says, random question for you both. I've been listening to Prince a lot during quarantine. What's your favorite Prince song? Purple Rain. Because that's the song that I saw the video, and like, that's what introduced me to Prince. So Purple Rain.
I never got really into Prince.
Yeah. That's kind of the extent of my Prince.
Yeah. The Aquabats came out with a new song yesterday. So that's kind of where I've been.
Ben says, how has that been for you as a teacher? I forgot what we were talking about.
I don't know what we were talking about, but
Ben, remind us.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely go into what it's been like as a teacher during quarantine. Which has been tricky.
Ben Dover says, Daryl Reed, I agree. I'm interested in their opinion too.
Power duo here.
Yeah. Mona says, I'm in New York City as the weather's getting nicer. A ton of people are out. I witnessed this on Saturday. So I think the shelter-in-place order is pointless if so many people are out. Thoughts?
It's tricky because New York, like a nice spring day in New York or early summer day.
Itching to get out.
I mean, it's beautiful. I was lucky enough to be there a couple years ago on like, the summer solstice or whatever. And it was just like, it was like the most beautiful time in Central Park. Everybody was gathering to like watch the sun through the buildings on the streets. And it was just like, one of the most charming experiences of my life. So I can understand if you're in your apartment, you're just like, I need to go out there now. But it's kind of that, I mean, not to get too far into it, but it's the same thing. I've seen people passing this around, which I think is good. If the whole goal is to flatten that curve by staying home, then when you get to the point where it's like, we don't really need to be doing this anymore, that would be because the curve is flattening, which if we do things right means
you're doing things right.
It's going to feel like we overreacted. It's like Y2K, where everyone's like, oh yeah, remember we freaked out about Y2K and nothing happened. It's like, well, yes, nothing happened because people spent years prior to do everything they could to make nothing happen. And then they still prepared us because they weren't entirely sure. So if we do everything we're supposed to, it's going to feel like, maybe we overreacted. But that's so much better than having things continue to go exponentially negative. with new cases and new deaths and things like that. So
here's where I lean on it, because I don't think we've even like talked about this. We try not to really talk about this.
We just go like, this is what our county says to do. This is what we will do.
Because we just do what we can here at home, which is stay home. But for me, I understand the angst and the frustration and the whole freedom thing. Like, we get there's a pandemic. We will wear our masks, but we should still be able to have the freedom to go out and do business and conduct business and all of that. I think that people should be able to do that. But I don't trust people. Like, I don't trust that some people would wear their face masks and be really diligent about hand washing and stuff. And that's fine, because if, I would just stay home. That's my personal choice. I would stay home until there's a vaccine. But if the cases like increase because people are choosing to do whatever, that's their choice. But then the thing that makes me sad and worried is if the possibility of hospitals becomes overrun, now you're impacting people who aren't necessarily choosing to be there. And that's where it's like, okay, if all of you guys want to go hang out at the bar, cool, go do that. But now if some of you guys end up at the hospital, people that I really care about work there. And now they're at risk because you made that choice. And that's where it gets a little tricky for me. So
I feel like it's been, everybody in some way has made sacrifices over the past few months or even longer. And if we just throw it all away too soon, then it's just like, it's sort of throwing away all of that, everything that we've done and all that sacrifice. It's like building up your savings account and then just blowing it like a Vegas casino or something. It's like, we owe it to ourselves for the sacrifices we made in the past to see it through in a responsible way. What that looks like, I really don't know. I don't think I'm the person to come up with the answer for that. But I just think personal responsibility and accountability is really important.
Yeah.
As it is with most things.
Let's see. So Ben says, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So
he's also saying, are you teaching remotely? How has that transition been? How have you been able to stay connected with your students?
So that's interesting, because one thing I feel like, and this is just me speaking personally, I feel like schools were not really prepared for this, obviously, but we've been using digital tools like Google Classroom for years. And because I teach digital media, it was a relatively smooth transition to
your subject,
just keep using Google Classroom. And then we do Zoom meetings kind of regularly, which students love. We don't really even do anything. I know some teachers were doing lectures and lessons, and I was going to do that. But what I found is my kids more than anything love to just spend a half hour like checking in with everybody and, asking questions about what's happening with school and that kind of stuff. And they just like that.
Classroom time.
Yeah, they just like that. So it's almost just like open hours with every class a couple times a week. The tricky part is, out of my 200 students, I don't know, maybe 25 are really active with online learning, because it's all voluntary at this point. So because some of them are homeless, some are being abused, some of them, their parents have lost their jobs, they've had to move. Like, there's so much going on that just makes it where like logging into Google Classroom and doing my little assignment is not the priority. And the state, county, and district have all decided that the students shouldn't be punished for that this is just beyond their control. We'll do the best we can to support them. And so we're just sort of there as much as possible to support them. And if they, choose to or not participate, it's kind of up to them. It's been fun when I get to like interact with the kids, which is nice. But some of the stories are really like, it's definitely not a good time for everybody. And that's kind of heartbreaking. And so I feel like when we go back to school in the physical setting, we're probably going to still be like incorporating a lot of these digital tools, which is good, but also just to kind of have there in case something happens again, to make it more of an easy transition. I feel like if something were to happen again in the future and we go into like a quarantine thing again, it's not going to be the like, go to school if you want. It's going to be like,
there's expectations.
You actually need to do work and get grades, and this counts towards stuff. And so I feel like we're going to keep building those muscles, which is probably a good thing. But I also feel like the first part of next school year, if we go back to normal, is just going to be so much like trauma support. And it's really not going to be much about like, here's the curriculum and that, but it's much more about just like helping people, you know, deal with,
figure out society.
Just refigure out.
Yeah.
Refigure out.
Yeah. Daniel, different topic. What movie sequel do you think surpassed or was equal to the original? Endgame.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a part 2. I guess that's a sequel.
Isn't that a sequel?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that. I used to think Back to the Future 2, and it does not hold up the way that I thought it did at all. So that's not the one. I'm
sure I've seen this, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I know that I have a couple, but I cannot think of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Endgame was really good.
Ben Dover says, I feel like this pandemic will fix our school system, upgrading it into the futuristic transhumanist utopia that I wish for.
Hope for, where everything is chrome plated.
Can't wait for optical implants that let me watch Zoom classes through my retina. Mona says, do you think it's realistic that schools will be open in September? My daughter is 1 and goes to daycare. It's impossible for 1-year-olds to social distance.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it seems like as like a public high school teacher,
Mona, you said this earlier. Yes. I didn't highlight it, but someone else said it. Daryl said it in response to you. It's important that the government does not implement cookie cutter rules. Different states, cities need different rules. I think that's very true. Like, I think it should be for schools, especially be district to district, because I'm sure what's happening in New York is totally different from, even from LA to us, because we're just a different region and everything.
Well, and just grade levels. A high school student is very different than a 1-year-old or a kindergartner in terms of what they need, what they can understand. Like it, I think that, cookie cutter rules are going to be tough.
Yeah. Ben says, really appreciate you sharing your perspective and insights.
Oh, thanks so much.
Daryl says VR daycares will be a great investment, in my opinion.
VR daycares. Is that VR like the baby is in VR? Or like
James says, what other prophecies needs to play out according to The Simpsons, Tom?
You know what? Here's the thing about The Simpsons.
God, he loves The Simpsons.
I do.
So
it's
much.
My favorite show. It's the most formative show I've ever watched in my life. I have not seen most of it at this point because I'm one of those people that kind of dropped off in the teens of seasons and sort of checked in. And now I want to go. It's half the reason I wanted to get Disney Plus was to just go catch up on Simpsons stuff. But seasons 1 through 10, 11, I can basically quote every line. After that, I don't even know some of the stuff that's happened. So I don't know even what some of their prophecies are, but it's just when you have a show that's done like 800 episodes or 700 episodes or whatever, God, I mean, like they just come up with every possible idea.
Daniel, what shows, movies did you discover over quarantine that you wouldn't have given a look at otherwise and you would recommend?
I mean, we've still been stuck on our anime binge that started last summer.
So,
but we have gone through the ones we originally did. So it caused us to try to like find new ones.
Here's what I would recommend. Okay. Because I think it's on Hulu.
I don't know what we're recommending. The one we're watching right now?
No, Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you're new to anime, or I don't know if you know of anime,
stayed away from it
for some reason, you haven't watched Demon Slayer. I think it's on Hulu. Go watch Demon Slayer. It's like the best show ever.
It is like, subtitled.
It is subtitled,
but it disappears after. I mean, your brain just phases that out right away, and
it's so good. I can't even explain to you like how good it is. It's not even like, if you don't like anime, take out all your perceptions about anime and like watch it, because it's just, the storytelling is amazing. I don't know. The characters are so great. It's so good. It's so good. Watch it.
There's a lot of good stuff because anime has like a weird stigma. We could go on anime for a while. But I think ultimately, if you're stuck with that stigma, what I learned was, it's not like saying you don't like anime is like saying I don't like music. It's like, well, did you not like music? You're not like certain kinds of music, because it's such a broad it's such a broad medium. It can be very childlike. It can be super weird. It can be just really slice of lifey. It can be
Violence,
anything.
Horror,
it's just a medium of art and expression, and some of it is so like artistic and masterful and funny and serious and emotional. It's just so good, and there's so much out there. It's like, I love it.
Daniel says, is Demon Slayer rated TV-14 or below? If not, I can't watch it.
Then you just have to do it after your mom goes to bed. Then you got to log into her account.
There you go. Have either of you read The Fountainhead? Why or why not?
Oh,
what is that?
That's an Ayn Rand. I was an English teacher and I never knew how to pronounce her name. No, that isn't Ayn Rand. That's her, right, Miss Rand? No, I taught Anthem, which I actually kind of liked.
Oh, I always forget that he was an English teacher. I love that about you.
But
so cute.
I just never understood the stigma and the things around that area. But no, I haven't read that one. I've just been rereading The Martian.
Ben says, have either of you picked up a new quarantine hobby or started doing something you weren't doing before? Cooking more, baking, building model cars, etc.
I mean,
so up until our Ben had his health scare, I was doing body combat like every day.
Yeah.
Like I was addicted. We like literally were like
we just walk around the house like
just punching. And if you don't know what body combat is, it's a aerobics fitness class that we used to do like at the gym.
Like with people.
Yeah. But now you can't do that. So you can go to lesmills.com and they have like a 7-day trial. It is the best. I have done like so many different types of exercises throughout my life. I think my second favorite type of exercise, my favorite before body combat, was just weightlifting. I've just weightlifted for a while. Body combat is just so much fun. It's so much fun. I can't even explain to you. It's a whole hour. You can do it shorter if you want, but I don't know if that actually counts as a hobby, but I just was so into it. It was like all I thought about. I would just watch videos on it. I would like look at gear that I could buy, like new shoes and stuff.
It's a good it's a good workout too. And then
so much fun.
We haven't done a lot of cooking, but we did, you did all the work, started doing homemade dog food.
Yes. Yeah. We have an Instant Pot. And we just have all this time now to, I mean, not that we didn't have time before, but we're trying to be like the best dog parents that we can be, and since Ben was having like stomach issues or whatever, we were like, okay, let's see if we can kind of incorporate more homemade food. So we looked at recipes for that, and that's been fun. In terms of cooking for us, like, no, we're just eating the same
I learned
stuff.
how to make a real good grilled cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's never had ramen, and now he loves ramen.
Well, that was like last fall that started. Yeah, I never had like actual.
But you're like putting stuff in it and like.
Yeah, like throwing like spicing up the ramen.
Yeah.
Because I gotta eat ramen and watch anime, because that's what I do now.
Yeah. Okay, Mona says, I'm sure you guys heard you can legally get married virtually. Do you plan to do that or wait until the pandemic is over and have an in-person traditional wedding? What info have venues shared with you?
That's a great question.
This is a great question. So in New York, you can get married virtually. As of Friday, our governor declared that you can now get married over video conference in the state of California for the next 60 days. On the discretion of the county. So we called the county on Friday to figure out whether we can get married or not, because we decided we just want to get married as soon as possible. Our original date was October 17th. And that was a traditional wedding-ish. And that hotel that we're doing it at is obviously closed now.
Yeah, well, first they moved the Coachella festivals to that weekend, which changed the rates of everything. So then we were trying to move to a different date, and the hotel closed.
And so we were like, oh, let's switch with Coachella then, because now...
Yeah, it was like, I know you have openings.
Yeah. So we were like, we're going to move it to April. And then that didn't happen.
Did not work.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Our county said they're not currently doing virtual marriages, but I think we also called like literally the day after the announcement was made. So I don't think they had updated their stuff. Maybe next week. Our county's, I like our county. I think they do a good job overall in like all the things. So I feel like they're not against, I don't think they would be against it. And that would be great. And then just figuring out a ceremony. I don't know, because who knows?
Yeah, like we don't know. We want to have
like we've made deposits and we've had plans,
like
but at what point, even if a venue is open and they're like, yeah, you can book this weekend or this thing, like, will people want to travel? Like how will it actually fit in with the reality of the world? I don't know.
But we want to get married, so
I mean that's really the more important part, right? It's the actual getting married part.
Yeah.
Just do an Animal Crossing wedding.
Yeah,
I'm hugely in favor of this.
Seriously talking about Animal Crossing wedding. And James, if you're still there, we were just gonna tell you guys, like, here, you guys decorate the room. We'll just walk our characters through. Okay. Let's see. James says we were doing homemade dog food, but quarantine made us switch back. Homemade dog food. We should talk about that. What'd you do?
Yeah, we've been mixing and doing one kibble and one homemade meal a day.
Yeah. Have you read Andy Weir's new book?
I started it. I don't know why I didn't get any further in it. It was really good. It's like the book he wrote after The Martian.
Oh.
And it was really good. And then I just I got busy or something and stopped doing something else. And we visited my family a few months ago and The Martian was on TV. And I was like, God, this is so good. I want to read the book again. And then I started the book. And then I got distracted because there's a book, one of the writers of The Office came out with a book that's just like the history of the show and interviews with everybody about pivotal episodes and how the show started. So I've also been bouncing back and forth between reading that. I read before bed and I follow like reading puts me to sleep, which was really hard as an English major because I'd have to read hundreds of pages a week and literally like 5 pages in I would just be asleep.
That's so weird.
I
don't understand that because
I love reading.
I'm into it's like playing video games.
I love reading, but it just for some reason I get so relaxed and it just puts me in a place and I just fall asleep.
All right, Daniel. Do you both think this pandemic will create an uptick in creativity of new YouTube channels, such as being self-sufficient, creating content by being your own editor, writer, director, animator?
I hope so. I genuinely hope so. My concern, which is where I guess you and all your services could come in, is when people want to start stuff during the quarantine is the abilities to sustain it. Like, it sounds really fun. I'm going to make a video and I'm going to do this, which is always the issue with YouTube or anything like that or a podcast or whatever. But can you make 10, 20, 30, 100, 200, 400 episodes and sustain it? And I hope that people use this time to discover a part of themselves, get really excited about it, and that motivates them to stick with it when things kind of like shift and open up again.
Yeah.
Because it's so fun and rewarding.
Yeah. How fun. The pressure of decorating the room. We do ground turkey, brown rice, carrots, and peas. That's exactly what we did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think we did green beans instead of peas, but...
He loves it. Oh, and sweet potato.
Oh, and sweet potato. Yeah. We threw in some sweet potato. Which, oh my God, it was so good. I was just going to eat it for myself. We reached the end of the list.
That was nice. It's like when we do the Zoom calls, it feels like you're hanging out with people.
When I said, hey, Tom, we should live stream, he was like, I don't really like doing live streams.
That wasn't today. That was like a month ago.
Well, it's true, though.
Well, okay. It's hard. What I don't like is when it has to be like, when it's too formal, I guess. So.
I know. And I feel,
because I get up in my head and then there's pressure.
Responsible because I was like, let's do Share Spark and like the whole agenda thing and
yeah, when it's just like
teaching and
like this earlier today, you were like, would you want to do a live stream today? And I was like, yeah, I'm done with all my stuff. I would like to do it. And then I was the one who later today because you were like late afternoon and it was getting to be like 6 and I was like, are we gonna live stream today? And you're like, it's up to you. And I was like, I will do whatever you want to do. I'm like in
the middle of a boss fight, like the last boss in Final Fantasy. Like it's just on pause right now. So I was like,
Yeah. So I was the one who was like, hey, are we gonna think so?
Yeah. So, but I feel like I feel like I just needed to create something because it's like it's been so long since I have that trying to plan anything. I just was getting up on my head, and for me, I know what's best is just kind of throw myself in and go. So I'm glad that we did this, and we wanted to do this for a while. Like I pitched it, like he said, you know, a while ago, where we had this whole show, like, was it quarantine? We were just gonna live stream and hang out with you guys because we're all hanging out at home. So why not do it together and just hang out? So if you're watching, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure to hit the notification button because maybe we'll go live again soon. But it's not going to be a planned thing because we don't want to plan it because then you'll get up all in your head.
Yeah, it's true. But this is really fun.
Yeah.
I really like this where you can put the comments on the screen really easily. It's
Daniel
really
says,
nice.
thank you both for doing this. Good to see you two again through technology.
Yes.
And live stream is a whole nother beast.
Oh boy. Well, you guys are pros. You're seasoned veterans.
You guys are so good at it. All right. Well, we're going to end it.
Okie doke.
Thanks for hanging out.
I can't believe it's already 9 o'clock.
I know.
I'm so tired now.
When's our next live stream? We're not going to schedule it.
What a weird question to ask. It's when we feel like it. I don't know. Hopefully sooner rather than later, right? Like within this week.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoy your evening.
Thanks. Take care.
Good seeing you.
Yes.
Bye. Oh, wait. Heather, you promised us daily vlogs. I'm still waiting.
Oh.
I know, but it's like, it would be so boring during quarantine time.
Isn't that the creative challenge, though?
I know. Thanks, Mona. I appreciate that. Good luck with scorpion hunting. Is that the new bug?
I've heard rumors.
Have you caught one already?
That's like scary. Like I've found scorpions.
Are they like?
They're like big and mean.
No, but do they look like the tarantula? Have you caught one already? Okay. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. We're going to hunt some scorpions.